In the beginning of the movie, a man named George can be seen visiting the jungles of India as he's suffering from the last stage of brain cancer and has only 6 months to live. George intends to acquire Nagmani, the stone of immortality, from a female shape-shifting cobra known as Nagin. He hires a few local henchmen to help him in his search, but although they agree to accompany him, they tell George that they'll only lead him to where Nagin is, but won't help him catch her because they're afraid of her vengeance. Oh yeah, I wouldn't go after Snake Lady anymore after hearing that. While moving through the jungle, George tells his plan to his new team. He shares that he plans to catch her mate and will use it to lure Nagin into his trap so he can get the Nagmani and become immortal. Upon hearing the plan, the locals inform him that the snakes are most vulnerable when they're mating. Soon they manage to locate the snakes, who happen to be mating, but no one dares to catch them. George orders his henchmen to capture the male snake, but they refuse, so he stabs one of them and threatens the rest to comply. Wow, literally ignored their request from before. One of the guys reluctantly captures the male snake while Nagin escapes into the forest. After capturing one of the snakes, one of his henchmen gets second thoughts about everything and warns George that Nagin will soon hunt them all down if they don't return its lover back. However, George ignores him once again, and out of fear, the henchman terminates himself with a gun. The ignorant George then takes that snake into a glass box and tortures it while taunting it to call for its lover Nagin to come and save it. Bro has gone full cray-cray. The movie then totally switches to a city where a couple, Inspector Vikram and his wife Maya, are introduced. They're currently going through a challenging phase of their lives where Maya had just suffered a miscarriage and lost her child. This causes great grief for her and her husband. While Vikram's busy comforting his wife, the story goes back to the jungle, where Nagin can be seen transforming herself into a woman in order to search for her snake boyfriend and seek her revenge. She goes to feed on birds' eggs, steals clothes from a local tribe before going into the city. Soon, Nagin arrives in the city where people are celebrating the festival of Holi. A snake charmer named Dinesh starts playing his musical instrument and soon makes his pet snake perform. However, Nagin, who's hearing this music, gets lured to him and begins dancing in front of him. Just then, two local people spot Nagin and develop bad intentions on her and approach her. While still in a trance because of the snake charmer's music, Nagin gets taken away by these guys back to their place, where they hurt her and attempt to get frisky with her. However, Nagin shapeshifts into a snake and assassinates her attackers. See what happens when you don't keep it in your pants? She then turns back to her human form and leaves. Dinesh sees all this and quickly runs away, fearing for his life. So the next morning, a few locals spot Nagin sitting by a tree, looking distressed, and decide to report her to the police. She's taken to the station where Vikram works, and he offers her a cup of tea, hoping she'll tell him what happened. However, she doesn't say a word. While in his office, she's looking at pictures of missing people and recognizes one of George's henchmen from earlier. Vikram notices this and thinks she might know something and questions her about it, but Nagin gets flashbacks instead and faints. With no choice, Vikram calls Maya and requests for her to take care of Nagin while he leaves to investigate the recent murder done by Nagin. Maya, running a shelter for women, takes her in and gives her new clothes to wear. In the meantime, Vikram goes to the crime scene and is shocked to see the brutality of these assassinations. He then goes to check out an autopsy with the doctor. However, the doctor's surprised to see that the bodies have strange bite marks on them, which confuses Vikram. He tells the doctor to find more about these corpses and let him know if he can find anything else. As Vikram's about to leave, a new officer named Nagin comes over and introduces him as his new assistant, and the two start looking for clues together. At night, Maya tries to have another kid with Vikram by initiating Boom Boom, but Vikram is distracted with work and tells Maya about the strange murders. However, she's not believing him, thinking he's only making it up to avoid Boom Boom. Now at the shelter where Maya has put Nagin, a man can be seen trying to get frisky with a woman, but Nagin sees this and quickly saves her by murdering him with her powers. She then leaves the shelter and soon comes across another woman getting abused by her husband. So again, we decide to eliminate this person in front of his children. Elsewhere, George is informed of Nagin's whereabouts in the city by Dinesh, the snake charmer, after George promises him to give him money as a reward. However, when he tries to claim his money, George tortures him and places his hand on the snake being electrocuted, forcing him to run away. George is one crazy dude. Back to the investigation. Naveen and Vikram find out that a large amount of snake venom has been found in the murdered bodies. This piques their curiosity as to why someone would murder this way. Naveen starts thinking that these murders aren't ordinary. There has to be something supernatural going on. But Vikram ignores all of that, and he just thinks someone's out there injecting snake venom in people. They then leave for another crime scene. Now at this scene, Vikram notices that the victim has the same bite marks as the others and asks Nagin to ask around. Nagin then tells him that the kids from earlier saw a giant snake eliminate their father, but being not superstitious about such things, Vikram dismisses it again and thinks that it's the wife that murdered her husband in self-defense and the children are just trying to cover up for their mother. So later that day, these recent murders are sparking frenzy in the media, with a lot of reporters trying to interview Vikram about this investigation as he arrives at another crime scene at his wife's shelter. Nagin meets up with him and once again tries to convince him that something supernatural might be causing these crimes, and also adds that a woman at the shelter had witnessed Nagin saving a woman from the murdered victim. Well, that makes him finally suspicious, so he calls Maya and asks about the woman he left her with, but she tells him that she already left, thinking Nagin might now somehow be linked to the crimes. Vikram orders his team to find her. Elsewhere, Nagin is still looking for her snake boyfriend. She then comes across Dinesh and smells that he'd been in contact with her boyfriend and gives chase. However, in the midst of running, Dinesh gets hit by a car and passes away. Meanwhile, Vikram and his team happen to arrive at the site of Dinesh's passing and see a glimpse of Nagin in the crowd. However, she instantly disappears after being spotted. Meanwhile, George realizes the snake has been tortured too much and is starting to show signs of passing away, so he quickly takes the excretions of the snake and applies it to one of his men. He then forces him to run to the city so Nagin can smell her lover on him and find George's location. Damn, I seriously hate to be that guy. His plan works, and Nagin manages to track and find the man, but she decides to spare him and follows his footsteps to George's hideout instead. Nagin soon makes her way to the hideout and starts eliminating George's men. She manages to finally reunite back with her partner, and the two creatures get frisky with each other. I mean, I guess they've been holding that in for a long time. Now during this time, Vikram gets info about Nagin's whereabouts and takes his team to find her. Back at the hideout, George puts on a special bodysuit to stop Nagin from sensing his presence. He sneaks up on her and captures her in a net. He then shoots at her and starts asking her for the Nagamani and offers to release her snake boyfriend in return. Just then, Vikram and Nagin arrive with their team and begin firing. After some back and forth, Nagin manages to hold George down while Vikram rescues Nagin. But after he lets her go, George manages to get out of his grip and terminates him with a gun. Enraged, Vikram immediately attacks him and rushes over to Nagin, who sadly passes away. Furiously, once again, Vikram starts beating George, and this time, Nagin's lover also passes away. This causes Nagin to be heartbroken, and she transforms into her ultimate form, a snake-human hybrid, and grabs Vikram. However, she doesn't hurt him, but warns him not to interrupt her revenge instead. She then gets a hold of George and throws him into that same glass box her lover was tortured in, and assassinates him by electrocution. She then takes her snake boyfriend with her and disappears, with Vikram still shocked by what he just saw. Now as months pass, Vikram and Maya are blessed with a child with the help of Nagin's blessing. And the movie ends with Nagin watching her eggs hatching. Always a pleasure having you guys around. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you had a good time today, and get ready for the next one.